Hi, this is Ray Prevost here with your Simple Photoshop Minute. Well, it may be simple, but it's not going to be a minute. What we're going to look at today is how we slim someone down when we can't just go in there and use brute force with the liquify tool. We have such a case here. We have a beautiful young lady here. She's nice and slim. The problem is we've got good separation here, but we do not have it here between having her turned, having her arm against her side, and shadowing. We can't see where this edge, so she looks a little wider than she really is. So when I'm looking at an image, looking for ways to fix what I see as problem areas, I look to see if I have the raw material in the file that I need. In this case I do. I have this area right here that I can use over on this side. So I'm going to change to the lasso tool by hitting the L key, and I'm just going to make a quick selection around this area here. I'm not being precise. I don't care. I don't care what the feather is. You'll see why in just a moment. So I'm going to hit the Command or Control J to duplicate to a new layer. You can see we have a new layer with a speck on it. That's our selection. And now I'm going to hit Command or Control T to transform. If you come inside the transform box and use a right click, if you have a right click mouse, if you don't, if you have a Mac with only one button, you can hit the Control key and click in here, and you see a contextual menu, and you'll come down here to flip horizontal because we want it going the other way. So for precise positioning of this, I'm now going to zoom in. And I'm just going to drag this into position. If I needed to, I could rotate this slightly. But right now I'm just trying to match up that sleeve. And that looks pretty good. I know this doesn't look good, but I'll show you what we're going to do about that in just a moment. Okay, I hit return. That okays the transformation, and I'm going to come down here to layer mask, add layer mask. I'm putting a layer mask on there. I'm going to change to a brush by hitting the B key. I'm going to check my opacity. It's at 100%. That's where I want it. So I'm going to get a slightly larger brush by hitting the right bracket key and check my color. I'm in the wrong color. I'm going to hit the X to exchange the color so that I have black right there, and I'm going to paint out the extra areas that I don't want. I'm going to go to a smaller brush, hitting the 5 key to get to 50% opacity. If you look over here, it changed to 50% without me having to go up there. And I want a smaller brush. I hit the X key to go back to white so I can paint back out what I did there because I want to have a nicer edge here. Remember, I'm not going to do all the finesse stuff because it takes too long. You can see I didn't quite match that there. That's okay, because now I'm going to hit the V key for the move tool, use my down arrows to move that into place. So you can see that now that sleeve matches up better. Okay, back to the mask, painting with black. I'm going to hit X to exchange my colors, and I'm going back to 100%. Because I've got some stuff that I left right here. Hitting the X key to go back again. I want to work on this arm a little bit. I know I said I wasn't going to finesse. It's just hard for me to just leave it like that. By hitting the X key and going back and forth, you can get a nice edge there. I'm not going to fool around with that more. The main thing I want to show you is putting this in here. So that looks pretty good, and I've left it kind of an edge like you see there. I don't want a sharp edge, a sharp transition area. I'm going to hit Command or Control E to merge down because I don't need that anymore. I've got a little haziness here because this didn't match exactly in color here. Making a dark gray into a black is as simple as can be. I'm just going to hit the O key, which brings me over in this case to the burn tool. I'm at 20% exposure on midtones. This is a sledgehammer tool. I don't use it a lot, but for this right here, it's pretty easy. I'm just going over that area and making it darker so that it blends. Since I can't really make a black area much blacker, it's pretty simple. Okay, so that way we've got pretty good merger. I could probably use the clone tool to make this a little nicer. I'm going to skip that step right now. and show you how we can go further with this, because now this exactly duplicates. It's a mirror image, so some sharp-eyed person might actually see that. So I'm going to hit the M key for marquee so I can select the area I'm going to work on. I'm leaving a little extra so I have area to push and pull to, and I'm going to go to the liquify. By putting the marquee tool around it, I make the liquify tool act much faster because it doesn't have to deal with all these other pixels. So I'm going to use a Command or Control Shift X to get to liquify. You could go up to the filter menu and get it, but this is a little faster. Command plus plus to get it a little bit larger. I'm going to choose the freeze tool. F is freeze. It's this tool right here, and that paints a protective area. I'm going to get right along the sleeve there. You notice I've gone way past the sleeve here, as close as I could to this, because I don't want to be pulling any of that when I start using the liquify, and I don't want to mess up any of that area there. I just want to move this area right here. So now I'm going to change to the warp tool. A W changes to warp, which is this tool right up here, and I'm just going to start pushing. So I'm just changing that edge. It doesn't have to be precise, it just has to be different than the other side. And I pushed in a little bit, so give her a little bit more slimming. I'm going to get rid of the marquee by hitting Command D to get rid of selection. And there you have it. We have a new edge for her. And looking at it right now, I can see I made her arm a little bit skinnier than I wanted to, but I was doing it kind of fast here. But you've got the technique. You just select, flip, and modify with the liquify tool and blend with a mask. So that concludes this week's episode. Maybe next week I'll show you how I got from this to this. And in this one you can see her arm is nice. We got a nice blend there. But what I want to point out is if you look over here, you see all these sunlit parts of her arm and in the back, and those have all been taken care of here. And in addition, if you look at her necklace, I've centered her necklace. So those are things that maybe we can show in subsequent episodes of Simple Photoshop Minute. Thanks.